just tuning in because of the remarkable nature of what we're talking about, tell them who you are and what you do, please.
Okay. I'm Dr. Courtney Brown. I am a professor of political science at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. I am also president of the Far Sight Institute in Atlanta, Georgia. That's FARSIGHT. And we teach here at the Far Sight Institute a highly modernized course of something called scientific remote viewing. It was originally developed by the U.S. military and used for espionage purposes. We have taken that original military technology, civilianized it, and teach it to people, and it's a data gathering process. You might consider it akin to a psychic procedure, but the accuracy rate is way above 85%. It's been used operationally in the military, in the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, not the CIA, the DIA, during the 80s and 90s. Officially, the program was stopped in the Defense Intelligence Agency. I actually do know now that it's not stopped. There's actually still something still going on. But that's another whole story. You can talk about that on another day. The point is that it's a military Defense Intelligence Agency technology that we are now using and teaching in the civilian realm for exploration and evolutionary purposes. And again, we have an accuracy rate per session of people do everything they say, and there's no technical mistakes of above 85%.
All right, and you targeted this object again last night, literally hours ago, and you've got a rough report from your most trusted remote viewers.
We sent 3 professionals to this target under totally blind conditions. They were just told to go through the procedures. They were not told what the target was. And then they came back with 3 fully corroborating information-packed sessions detailing everything. And understand, this stuff has a reliability sufficient for people to have their lives risked on the battlefield. I mean, this stuff is extremely reliable when it's done correctly.
All right, look, I've got a fax here from somebody in Santa Rosa. This is just typical. I've got zillions of them. This one says, Art, this talk about Hale Bopp and ETs scares the poop out of me. Is this real, or is it a modern War of the Worlds broadcast? Michael in Santa Rosa.
Okay, Art, this one is real. Look, I've been talking about this for the longest time. I want to say something. This is very important. In the events that are going to be coming over the next months, I want you to understand that my role is the same as all of those here who are at the Far Sight Institute. And that is educational, informational, removal of fear by teaching. This is something that should have been done long, long ago. But I want you to know that we will always play a supportive role to the government, to the planet, to the species. We are not out to try to rattle people. We're trying to get them over a hump. We should not be in this situation, but we have been dealing with planetary governments that have been using secrecy for decades now with regard to the ET phenomenon, and the ETs are finally pulling the card, saying you just can't continue this realm of secrecy anymore.
How much do you think our government, and for how long has our government known that something was different with Hale Bopp?
Actually, a good indication is with what Mr. Sharmak said, is that the Hubble Space Telescope pictures started to be removed in May.
Yes.
So probably that's as good an estimate as any. Now remember, Art, I still have more information from this first session.
I understand. Well,
tingling.
Chuck is absolutely correct. I've heard this from many sources that our government began removing the Hubble photographs for some reason around May. That's correct.
Well, I'm just going on what he says. I don't have any independent information.
Well, I've heard that from others, for whatever it's worth.
It matches everything that I've seen with other realms as well.
Yeah. All right. I would like you to continue, if you would.
Seen with other realms as well.
Yeah. All right. I would like you to continue, if you would, but maybe before you do, for the sake of those who have joined, you should summarize, if it's possible, the first portions of the report that you read to us.
Well, the basic idea is that this object, it matches everything that I've seen with other realms as well.
All right. I would like you to continue, if you would, but maybe before you do, for the sake of those who have joined, you should summarize, if it's possible, the first portions of the report that you read to us.
Well, the basic idea is that this object 4 times the size of the planet Earth, is composed of both natural and technological composite materials. Most importantly, it is a device, but that it is also not just an inanimate object like a doorknob. It actually has a sentience about it, and the object is being thought of as a weapon by people here in the United States, by our own political leadership. That's what the session is coming back with.
Are you
But it's not a weapon.
Are you sure of that?
All the data says, and this is a totally blind session. I have absolutely no reason to mistrust any of these 3 sessions, that it is being perceived of as a weapon or possibly thought of as a weapon, but it is not a weapon.
Well, if our government doesn't realize that it's not a weapon and proceeds on the assumption that it is, then something really horrible could happen.
Well, that's what we're talking about, and that's actually going on to what's left of the session. Let me read one statement that even the people who have heard it before, they'll want to hear it again, and it will help with the new people. This is directly from the session, from the remote viewing session. This is one of our very best remote viewers. He's never failed us. The guidance system is a composite of minerals and organic materials in a matrix of thought. It is intended as a device for vibrational instrumentation. Some have looked at it and not decoded the unlocking or keying mechanism properly. Alright, and it is a danger to those and some others as a result, because they're not interpreting it correctly. And the danger, of course, as I interpret it, is them making mistakes and causing panic and stuff like that.
It's sending us a message. It's trying to get us a message right now, is that correct?
That's exactly correct. And this machine, this device, object, humongous object, actually interacts with our DNA in some fashion. It's partially physical and partially non-physical.
Doctor, hold it right there. We'll be right back to you. Somehow I always thought I would be on hand for this. You're listening to the CBC Radio Network. For those just tuning in, called by friends probably in the middle of the night saying something like, my God, quick tune in, you've got to hear this. You're listening now to Dr. Courtney Brown, Professor Brown, an associate professor of political science at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. Also president of the Farsight Institute of Scientific Remote Viewing, also in Atlanta. At Emory, he specializes in nonlinear mathematical modeling of social phenomena, environmental politics, and elections. He has held the Charles Grove Haynes Professorship at UCLA and was a Hewitt Fellow at the Carter Presidential Center at Emory University. Dr. Brown recently published the book Cosmic Voyage, a scientific discovery of extraterrestrials visiting Earth, in which he presents research that was conducted using U.S. military-derived remote viewing espionage protocols to study the ET phenomenon. Here, once again, is Dr. Brown. Doctor, without hesitation, I'm going to have you in a second continue moving through the report that you got just tonight on this object. All right. I did have Father Malachi Martin on. He's going to be on again tomorrow night. Somebody is reminding me by fax. The good father said last time he was on, your eyes on the sky between the winter of 96 and the spring of 97. I wonder if this is what...
Well, on our... This could be, but the idea is that on our website at www.farsight.org, we have had 2 announcements about upcoming and very soon to happen ET events and extraterrestrial events and with regard to humans that are really big wake-up calls. One has to deal with a rescue operation that's going to take place with a group of ETs that are actually on Earth at the time. and there'll be lots of ships involved. And the other has to deal with a huge flyover of ships. I mean, potentially hundreds of thousands of ships that are going to be flying over every place just to wake everybody up, just to get everybody to see it.
Well, I'm waking up this morning just based on this breaking news, and of course we haven't even gotten to that amazing announcement.
In fact, the reason you wanted me on the show in the first place was for me to describe those other two announcements, but this thing happened tonight, and I was fortunate enough to be able to assign three pairs of remote viewers to this target to get the information that we have now about it.
Please continue with that report. Let's get through with what we've got right now.
All right. The target, the object, the target object, when the viewer went on and continued to probe the target object using these scientific remote viewing protocols. The target object, and again for those who are new to the show, these were protocols that are a modernized version of those techniques that were used for espionage purposes by the U.S. military, developed by the U.S. military and the Defense Department during the 1980s and 90s, and this is a modernized, civilianized version of those procedures. All right, the target object. The target object is involved with the process of awakening, unfolding, and it's also very deeply involved with consciousness. This is no joke. Now, the viewer, the remote viewer, actually drew a sketch, a multi-dimensional sketch, with components in it. Looks like a matrix that's not just two-dimensional, more than three-dimensional. It had telepathic, encoding, and transportation aspects within it. And then the viewer went on to describe what this meant, because the viewer was trying to describe and diagram so many pieces of information that were coming through using this espionage technology. They were coming through at the same time using this remote viewing technology. And the reviewer wrote, "Energy is matter and thought in the middle of the object. All that can be seen appears 3D to the viewers. That is why they have misjudged the use." Now he's talking now about the government and astronomers who are simply looking at the three-dimensional object and wondering what it is used for. Okay. If they, meaning the government and astronomers and so on, have been given the thought balls of the matrix, but will not awaken and listen. Now the idea is that the object is both a subspace object and a physical object, and it is deeply involved with the concept of thought, subspace life, which is, as I described in the early part of the program, all that is beyond the physical, from the realm of the spiritual, planets, there are subspace planets, subspace everything. Everything that's in the physical is also in subspace, plus more, including our own souls.
And yet this is a gigantic, humongous physical object,
and subspace object.
And subspace, all right.
Now, then the viewer went on to say, the method of awakening must alter, and he's talking about the awakening of us. The subspace grid is the unlocking mechanism and must be understood by the leadership of the United States. Other countries on Earth, as an organization and organism, will follow what the U.S. says. Remember, this person is getting this information and was not told. This is a totally blind session with no leading cues at all. The only thing that person was told was a set of random numbers that are called the target coordinates, which have no meaning at all to the conscious mind. Now, then the view goes on. The time is now essential because the people cannot survive without full retrieval and operation of devices. There are more of them coming.
What?
My Lord.
There are more of these coming?
Apparently. There's DNA change. There's DNA in the concepts column of the matrix he's writing. There's DNA involved. There's somehow exchange, ionization, grids, lattices, thought balls. All of this is coming in. And it's extremely accurate remote viewing procedure. Remember to those who are new to the show, this procedure is described in my book, Cosmic Voyage, and in detail up on the website, www.farsight.org, and it was used operationally by the military, good enough to risk men and women's lives on the battlefield for. All right, now, this is a modernized version of the original military stuff. All right, now, he goes on. There is nothing original anywhere, he perceives. This object was a joint project of all the beings involved, or it could not happen here now. All future races Greys, humans, Martians, and others, like Andromedians, were